Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the DarkMouth podcast. I'm your host, the Dark Conservatarian, and he's the Loudmouth. Say hi, Loudmouth.
Hi.
And yes, I did just rip off Ranting Monkey as far as his style of intro goes. That he'll a good chunk of the time in his Monkey in the Morning podcast will go because I did not feel like opening it any other way, especially since I haven't really read a whole lot on the weekly news. Not a whole lot, anyways. Been focused on other things, but talking behind the scenes, Loudmouth here told me that he has some thoughts that he wants to get off his chest about Ukraine, I guess, which we'll start off with that and just go from there. What's up with that, Loudmouth?
Ukraine's being pummeled right now because Trump decided to cut off Ukraine from intelligence sharing.
Right.
Which has gotten a whole bunch of Ukrainians killed, as Trump intended.
Intended to get Ukrainians killed?
Oh, 100%. I think he enjoys it.
That seems like going too far. Like, say if he's like apathetic about Ukraine, or he wants to screw over Zelensky specifically, but innocent Ukrainians dying.
I think Trump's a true psychopath. Yes,
he might be a sociopath in a lot of ways, but I mean that seems to be more theoretical than anything. Saying that he wants Ukrainians to die. Like, what is there like another thing that is an example of him being like a true psychopath of just wanting to kill innocent people in cold blood or whatever?
Well, no, he has all those traits. He's incredibly vindictive. He's unable to ever admit fault.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That is one of the key traits of spotting a psychopath. Is nothing is ever their fault. If
Okay.
All right, if they ever lose or anything or set back, it's always someone else's fault. It was always like rigged against them unfairly. They can never lose or have any kind of setbacks, but legitimately or by their own fault. It's impossible in their minds.
Okay. And by the way, I was saying all right and whatnot, not to interrupt you, just to say that I was like listening. But yeah, I get that, and I understand and even agree with all that specifically. But to the fullest extent of a psychopath is somebody who's just all like, yeah, let's just kill people, blah.
That's not really that's not really a psychopath. They sometimes don't really enjoy like so much as often just do not care at all, and just kind of see themselves as the center of the universe.
Well, not caring and specifically wanting it is two different things. Was my
he does because I think
of Ukrainians.
He wants to take it to Zelensky. Because he feels slighted by him, and he doesn't care if innocent Ukrainians suffer as a result. That's how he is. He only thinks about this person. This person got on my nerves, therefore I have a right to destroy him, and I do not care about any consequences beyond that.
Well, I'll revert back to you saying like he just specifically wants Ukrainians dead.
To stick it to Zelensky.
I mean, surely there's like other ways that he could have stuck it to Zelensky, or would prefer to stick it to Zelensky. I don't think he specifically wants Ukrainians dead.
Maybe not. But I'm saying though, this move is just absolutely evil on the part of the Trump administration, because Russia taking advantage of the situation by pummeling Ukraine is exactly what you would expect from that. That is the very expected and obvious result of stopping intelligence sharing. By intelligence sharing, it's usually Russia are firing missiles at this location. Be prepared. So it gives Ukrainians a chance to shoot down, to take evasive matters with the missiles or shoot them down, or to just evacuate the areas. And Trump made it harder to do that. Why? Right. I can't think of any non-evil reason to do so.
I get that. Wasn't there like some tweet that you shared about someone else reporting about how Trump is furious after the fact of Putin continuing to charge into Ukraine?
Yeah, I'm sure he is, because he wants a peace process, and that's entirely. not for any benevolent reason, but entirely for self-centered. He wants the fight to
Maybe.
kind of stop at current lines just so he can brag. Oh, I'm the biggest peacemaker ever. Yada, 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 yada. And of course, Putin doesn't really want to go along with that either because Putin's also a psychopath, and he wants to conquer all of Ukraine. That's his goal.
Right. I mean, we can agree that Putin is a psychopath in the fullest, like, bloodthirsty extent of the word. But yeah, it seems that he's mad about the whole thing going bust. I mean, he doesn't really want to. Actually, no, he doesn't want Ukrainians dead. He just wants there to be some kind of a peace deal made. I mean, in his honor, to, like, give himself a big fat pat on the back, possibly. But all the same, I don't think he's happy about. It doesn't seem that he's happy about Ukrainians dying. In fact, he thinks that the continuing dying of Ukrainians at the hand of Russians is just even if it's for selfish reasons, like I'm about to mention, it's still like a sign that, he's not looking too good. His administration isn't looking too good on the front
Yeah,
of
but
the
I'm
issue
saying he
of
only cares
Ukraine.
about Ukraine. It sees Ukrainians dying as a negative thing, and because that it makes him look bad. In that sense, it's kind of. Do
Sure.
you remember the show The Wire? Have you watched The Wire?
No.
I highly recommend it. In Idris Elba's character, one time he's kind of like this drug kingpin type character. He's extremely angry when he finds out that kind of a fight. One of his gangs promoted killed a kid because one of the bullets went through her window and killed a little girl, and he's extremely upset about that. But it's not because he cares about the little girl dying. He's upset about that because it means more police presence which could harm his business. Trump's like that when it comes to Ukrainians.
Yeah. I guess that form of apathy is probably one of the milder senses of. Well, I don't know. What is the difference of
Psychopathy is
psychopath
kind of a
versus
spectrum.
sociopath?
Well, it's kind of a spectrum. They're not all psychopaths are the same. They're often they make up about 4% of the population at some level of anti-social personality disorder, and the lesser extent are just narcissists. And all psychopaths are narcissistic, but not all narcissists are psychopaths. That is true. Some people have like a delusional high opinion of themselves and center themselves, but do have a limited ability to empathize with others. And then you go further down, there's people who have a high sense of themselves and just don't care whatsoever about others. And then you go even further down, there's some who really enjoy inflicting pain on others. It's kind of a spectrum, and it makes up roughly hold on. And it makes up, and people on that various spectrum make up somewhere around like 2 to 4% of the population.
All this throwing around of the word psychopath, it makes me gotta ask, who's the bigger psychopath, Donald Trump or Devin Tracy?
Yeah, not going there right now. But not going there right now. But I'm saying, but I'm saying that I mean, though I will say both have the characteristics of having a insanely high opinion of themselves and kind of centering themselves and being incredibly vindictive to people who they perceive wrong them.
But you're not gonna state an opinion on who is the worst.
No, I'm not going to state who's a bigger one. I don't care. But I'm saying though those are kind of traits that you see between extremely vindictive, like they believe like it's their right to punish people who like disrespect them or get on their nerves in some way. Like,
all right.
Have you ever read the book? What was it called? Gone Girl?
No.
Again, another one I recommend. There's a movie adaptation, which is also a really good movie as well. The character of Amy Elliott Dunn was, and they go through the character's past and her encounter with other people, and like some sense of justice that she had. How like when someone cut her off in traffic and there was a sign that about how's my driving, she made it her like life's mission to find out who the driver was, get him fired, ruin his life. Like she really felt the need that he needed to be to be punished to the fullest extent possible for the crime of cutting her off in traffic because he had wronged her by doing so. Whereas most people would probably, if they get caught in traffic, maybe yell a little bit, but probably would just like, whatever, I don't care. I'm moving on with my life.
I wonder what is the exact reason. Like, I didn't even know that we were like actively giving Ukraine intelligence this whole time, ever since they started getting invaded in 2022. Why did Trump cut off intelligence to Ukraine? I just gotta wonder. Like, do you know what the alleged reason is why, or
who knows? I don't think Trump is really addressed it. And let's be honest, you can't really trust anything he says. He frequently contradicts himself from minute to minute. Like he called Zelensky a dictator, and then when it was brought up, he's like, "Oh, did I say that? Yeah, dumbass, you did."
When was that? Wow. Holy shit. Actually, maybe I should have searched that up on YouTube as well. Trump denies calling Zelensky a dictator.
Well, he didn't really deny it. He just said, "Oh, did I say that?" Like it was something he said carelessly and wasn't something he put out in like a bunch of statements. I'm like, you're president of the United States, buddy. You don't have the right to just say shit and then forget about it. When you say dumb shit, it can affect global events.
Trump on calling Zelensky a dictator. Did I say that? It's like, yeah. Either you're just playing coy, just lying otherwise, or somebody apparently is like being like with Biden back when he was president, and there's like some other alternative person that's handling your Twitter account or your Truth Social account or whatever that actually made that post in the first place. And apparently Trump did not know that and was all like, what?
I mean, it was rambling as hell and full of nonsensical word use, so I can totally believe it was sent by him.
Oh. Okay, fair enough.
All right.
Gotcha.
When Trump figures out how to turn off the cap locks feature, I imagine the whole nation will calm down.
Does he like he doesn't do all caps? Okay.
He does all caps a lot.
He does it a lot. I was
making a joke.
Maybe I am making it too serious. Having a little bit of a.
I was just trying to make a funny there.
I gotcha. Just having a hard time segueing because, like I said, people, I done like very little researching for the week's news. I've been actually more busy. For one, still editing my little vlog series that I am trying to get out there. It's a bit tedious to try and get all my thoughts together on top of all the weekly events as well that I've been doing. Like yesterday, I was prepping, like cooking food and then having over a couple of family members for continuing our Star Wars movie marathon. And on top of that, I've been reading this one article by Mayo Clinic that talks about why insulin is so high. But I guess since we're kind of edging into the issue of healthcare, I guess we can talk about Hasan Piker. Like Hasan Piker, he calls for a killing of a U.S. federal senator, and then he gets banned off of Twitch, but for only one day. Isn't this guy the most?
Which is how fucking outrageous that he'll. Because imagine if we did that on the stream. Do you think there's even the slightest chance either of us would keep our channels?
No, because we don't make YouTube enough money.
Yeah, Hasan Piker needs to get banned. He not only does he need to get banned, he needs to get prosecuted for that.
Yeah, and you know what? Maybe we should like start looking into the heads of Twitch for that matter too. On why that they are like just so hands off, so complacent, I guess, as far as Hasan Piker's behavior and other shit goes. Like, isn't this guy the biggest spoiled brat in all of America? Hasan Piker, I mean.
Oh God.
Like,
The guy,
Has
the
he?
man's well into his 30s, and he talks like a bratty rich teenager.
Yeah, and he has. It seems to me that he hasn't received a single, uh, at least full week's worth of punishment in his entire life. I mean, yeah, he was banned from Twitch, but only for 1 day. So okay, I guess that counts for a tiny bit of something, but
It's a
still,
slap
it's
on the wrist for given the severity of what he did, and the
exactly.
severity of all the shit he's done in the past. Okay, this is not the first time Hasan Piker has advocated for violence. Far from it.
Yeah. I mean, and it's not like he was banned from all other social medias, not like with Alex Jones. Now, granted, I'm not going to start siding with Alex Jones and say that I agree with him on Sandy Hook being a false flag. I think those claims are fucking stupid as all fuck. And, but still, at least he did not at least not explicitly anyways, advocate for killing anybody, and yet he got banned off of all his social medias. But this leftist socialist brat, Hasan Piker, he does explicitly call for death against a U.S. government official, and he doesn't get banned off of all social medias, only one, and it's not even for that long, it's just for 1 day. Like, there is I mean, I don't want to like claim a bias against right wingers. I'm not one to go around about that issue a whole lot, but it almost seems that way from taking things into consideration here of Alex Jones versus Hasan Piker.
I mean, there is bias against right wingers, but much more so, it's bias for big channels. And it's an example of another social media platform being hilariously inconsistent with enforcing the rules and giving people an unfair advantage in areas. And Twitch isn't the only example of that, but I don't think there's ever been a more blatant and hilariously obvious example of that than this right here.
Yeah, I mean,
Keep in mind, Hasan Piker, so ever since the October 7th attack, the shit he said against Israel has been disgusting. The guy pretty much is a neo-Nazi. The guy really hates Jews.
yeah, yeah, pretty much.
He once said referred to baby settlers, and he said that Jewish settlers in certain Palestine regions were legitimate targets, including their children, baby settlers. All right, that is a pretty fucking disgusting position he takes.
Yes, I mean, even it'd be one thing if somebody was to be all like, "Oh, collateral damage," but no, he's all like, "Fuck them babies," just explicitly.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. He cannot bring himself to condemn Hamas at all, no matter what they do.
Yeah.
Want to know what's even funnier? Ethan Klein, I'm not even making this up, actually got a bigger suspension than him for playing clips from Hasan Piker advocating for violence than Hasan Piker got for advocating that violence.
Oh yeah, I did see that on Twitter.
How nuts is that? Can anyone justify that or even come close to justifying that? Absolutely not.
It's really fucking nuts, and I'm pretty sure that I've suffered something similar to that too. I just cannot explicitly remember right now, or I remember someone else suffering something like that, but I cannot think of it off the top of my head. I do know there was this one time before that I shared on Facebook the one picture of Trump like pumping his fist in the air after rising from him almost getting shot in the head. I shared that picture talking about, so apparently Trump was shot at least anyways, and I got struck down for that, saying you are hereby flagged for posting false pictures or false information. And
one of our
you know what the
streams
correction
got cut
was?
off because I was going into details on various shooting, but I was discussing ways on how to prevent those shootings, and you really can't do that without discussing the kind of graphic details of those crimes.
Right. I remember that, if y'all remember that live stream, but if I can like finish what I was about to say. So, and there's a little the little fact check source that they tagged underneath my post, and I looked at the post, and you know what the picture shown? It's shown the two Secret Service agents smiling, grinning real widely of when that they were trying to get Trump out of the scene. But you know what was the thing about my picture? Is that clearly you could see that the two Secret Service agents were not smiling. So I was posting the original unphotoshopped picture. And yet Facebook's like retarded algorithm decided to strike me for something that I did not even do. It was stupid.
Yeah, in both those cases, it was the algorithm doing that, not any person at YouTube. It's mostly an example of them policing a vast platform with incredibly dumb and imperfect AI.
Yeah. And maybe this is a example of why that AI should be regulated, especially when it comes to social media platforms. Them just
But that's not
employees
the
just
case
being
of Hasan Piker. There's zero chance that humans at Twitch don't know what Hasan Piker's saying. They fucking know.
yeah. Good segue actually. That point made. Yep. And so he goes advocating for death against the senator, and what was the reason why? It was because Rick Scott, that is Rick Scott, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Senator Rick Scott was calling for an investigation and a reform of Medicare and Medicaid so that we could get the fraud out of there. And I don't even think that there was any advocacy for just a complete cutoff of Medicare and Medicaid. Just wanted to get the fraud out of there. But because I guess that was a dog whistle to Hasan Piker. He heard we need to get the fraud out of Medicare and Medicaid, and he heard we need to cut funding from Medicare and Medicaid just entirely. It's like he just decided to go roll rabid dog at that statement, like thinking that he heard something that he in fact did not.
Which could be which is just an example of Hasan Piker also being a fucking idiot.
A real fucking idiot. And you know what? Here's what I wanted to say, actually. It would not totally surprise me if, like, sometime in the future, there's some right-winger that went up to him and said something of the mildest of statements like, gender is not a spectrum, it is a binary. And he insisted to argue with Hasan Piker about it. And Hasan Piker starts to, rabid dog out and starts to assault and maybe even kill the guy. He gets thrown in jail for maybe a day or two, and then he gets bailed out of it shortly thereafter. Maybe he even gets assisted by Cenk Uygur, because Cenk Uygur, even though they are starting to like disagree with each other, Cenk and Hasan are. I don't think Cenk is like that harsh on Hasan to just let him rot in jail for killing somebody. I mean, I could be wrong, and I kind of hope that I'm wrong, but still, it wouldn't surprise me if karma was. Honestly, hopefully eventually karma does hit Hasan Piker. But what's the opposite of karma? Good luck? Good favor?
That's all that he's ever gotten in life. He's a spoiled little shit.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
He's the ultimate cartoonish example of the champagne socialist. Someone who advocates extreme politics while not living up to any of the principles he espouses.
He is literally a cartoon villain as well, with how spoiled that he is in all these manners, like doing bad stuff and then getting away with it scot-free. And just I would not be surprised if he was to have such good luck to where that, maybe not Cenk specifically, but if somebody was to completely bail him out of jail, just because, he's that valuable to Twitch's revenue service, and they just... that other person who bailed him out just likes him and his advocacy that much if he was to ever kill somebody. I mean, I hope I'm wrong, but still. It wouldn't surprise me.
He probably wouldn't, just because he doesn't want to lose his cushy lifestyle.
Probably.
Not out of any morality. 100%. I thought if he thought he could get away with it, 100% I think he would. He's a genuinely evil son of a bitch.
He probably at least would like lash out and start punching the guy and get arrested, and then not serve hardly a full month in jail after he got arrested.
Yeah, because the guy's got nothing but good breaks in life. And
I guess that's what my prediction.
And the thing is, though, the audience he's cultivated are a lot of them are like teenagers, and him being allowed to feed them this garbage. This pro-terrorism advocacy, this violent rhetoric, it's incredibly dangerous and irresponsible.
Yeah. And to be clear, I guess that's what I'll ultimately downgrade my claim to being, is just that he'll assault somebody, not that he'll kill somebody. Don't want to... I'm kind of teetering on the edge already here into
That
like borderline slander.
he'll go join Hamas. I mean, yeah,
Maybe
like
that.
advocated like he like brought some like pirate on his show. What was it? A Houthi pirate. The guys that are like attacking ships off the coast of Yemen. A lot of like American ships. And he essentially brought this guy on and just like chatted it up like he's just some cool dude. Asked him no tough questions. It's fucking insane.
Really is. And I guess the thing that I'm trying to build up here is talking about this issue of conflation of terms. Like, ultimately, like this is a few years ago that I kept on seeing a friend of mine like resharing this screen cap, and it's not specifically this post that like feeds into this sort of rhetoric that gets to people to the what was the name of Brian Thompson's assassin? Luigi Mangione.
Yeah, Luigi something. Yeah, I remember. I like.
Oh yeah, Luigi Mangione's.
Some people made like AI images of Luigi from Nintendo, like getting arrested by the cops. Those were kind of funny.
Yeah, that sounds funny. But the Luigi Mangiones and the Hasan Pikers of the world, their attitude and their rhetoric, this kind of stuff that I'm showing right here just feeds into that kind of action and that kind of rhetoric. And the screen cap goes, insulin has become so expensive that as many as 1 in 4 people with diabetes are now skipping life-saving doses. And the person says, in response, insulin manufacturers murder diabetics with price gouging. Fix the headline for you. This leftist conflation of terms. And you know what? I'm going to stop screen sharing because there's like another screen cap that I forgot to pull up.
It's them advocating for violence, 100%. Basically saying,
yeah,
it's a way that these people can like dehumanize and vilify people that you can advocate for violence against them. That's all that is.
Right. I mean, probably they wanted to advocate for violence from the get-go, but this kind of rhetoric seems to be like justifying that kind of seems to be justifying, giving some kind of self-justified reason for them to feel so emboldened to run around saying this kind of shit. Here's another example along the lines of Hasan Piker. FBI raids Brooklyn man's home after he hoarded over 5,000 boxes of N95 masks and was trying to sell them at 700% markup. And this person says in response, cool, now do the insulin manufacturers next.
You know, that actually is not a bad point. It kind of does show the hypocrisy of price gouging laws and laws against scalping.
Yeah, I mean, so I get it.
There actually is not that bad of a point.
I get the whole point of it all, but just I don't like the solutions to it. Like the solution seems to be force. Let's seize the business. Let's kill the healthcare CEOs or whatever. Yeah.
Like, what is shooting that CEO? What the hell is that going to do to lower healthcare costs? Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing. And the idea that just denying insulin to a diabetic, like, trust me, I have some diabetic family members, and it makes one feel kind of dicey about our current market and the world that we live in. But if anything major was to happen to them, I would not advocate for violence against insulin manufacturers or sellers or anything like that. I'd start maybe like getting heavily into activism for lowering the prices just in general. But would I start claiming, oh, these people murdered my family member? No, because I'm a literalist with my terms. Denying somebody care is not murder. That's it. I mean, at most, you could say that is just allowing them to die. But even then, at the same time, it's not like the person was under their jurisdiction or anything. I mean, they're just one person that a diabetic could possibly go to. It's not like they're technically, the diabetic is the insulin company's responsibility or anything like that. But unless they're like actively trying to steal the insulin from the inventory of all these diabetics or or something else along those lines, you
Yeah,
cannot say that
those
they're
issues
actively murdering them.
right. Those issues are all caused by the law of supply and demand. And one thing these idiots don't say, rationing of care absolutely happens in single payer government run healthcare systems as well. So the idea that if we didn't have a for-profit system, that there'd just be infinite amount of this to give to everyone is childish bullshit.
And that brings me to the Mayo Clinic. Let me see if I can pull it up or something. But so I'm not going to read this article or anything. Just talk about it. I'm going to probably save this for making a video about sometime in the future. It won't be anytime soon. It'll probably be months on down the line. But still, I've read this article once fully, and I'm almost done reading it a second time now. But what it goes talking about as far as speaking of laws of supply and demand, it's government regulation that is intervening with the laws of supply and demand. It's not like it's just a natural, there are as many suppliers that we can possibly get that are just allowed to enter the market. No, people are being like heavily restricted. I guess fine, I'll accept your cookies. They better be semi-sweet chocolate chip though. But anyway, it's not just a natural supply and demand free market thing. In fact, this article right here from Mayo Clinic, and it's not a perfect article, so I guess I'm kind of trying to separate the wheat and the chaff from this article. I don't agree with their solutions to the problem, but I do trust the basic summations of the stories that they're talking about here, the information that they're talking about, and that the reason of why that insulin costs are so high is not because of free market. It's because of these patents. Like these patents, people like to complain about how that Disney has such a stranglehold on the copyright of Mickey Mouse, but the copyright holding or patent, more specifically, of these minority different brands of insulin, which are the only ones allowed on the market, is even more ridiculous. Like a lot of these patents on the insulin are older than the creation of Mickey Mouse, for that matter, and yet somehow these insulin companies are able to bribe government to extend their patents. And when anybody tries to get into the insulin making market, these smaller companies, they are like supposedly, or actually, I guess they are officially intervening on those patents, and they get sued the shit out of them and get put out of business. And so that means like less competition. The solution is not to be like advocating for like death against all these people. What needs to be done is there needs to be like a heavy reform in government. Wait to say,
Yeah,
Loudmouth?
exactly. Yeah, I mean, patents are not supposed to last forever.
Yeah. I guess that's I feel like there was more that I wanted to say, but I kind of
we're not supposed to last forever. That's how the Constitution is meant to protect them, but not indefinitely.
Yeah. The solution is not to enact force. It's not okay. The issue of this is not that there's not enough force on the insulin manufacturing, and so therefore we need to put in more force in the way of just seizing these businesses or killing these CEOs or whatever. The issue is that there already is too much force in the way that government is just protecting these patents and suing all these smaller possible competitors. We need less force on the whole insulin market more than anything, or at least put the cart before the horse as far as our reforms go. Like the article from Mayo Clinic there goes advocating for price controls and other stuff like that. On top of freeing up the market, which I think, can't we do one without the other first?
Yeah,
At
the thing
least
about
for
price
starters.
controls is that they lead to supply shortages. If you force a
Yeah.
price that's artificially low, it'll like go out of stock. That happens all the time. That's what happened with gas under Nixon.
That's my belief too. I mean, I understand the whole idea of price controls, and especially when it comes to insulin being a super special resource that is extra volatile. But can we at least try the free market approach first before enacting any price controls? That's my belief.
Right.
But yeah, there's not much activity in the live chat, but definitely a video that I'm going to have to make summarizing the tidbits of information in that article, and kind of compiling all these issues of people advocating for death against healthcare CEOs and whatnot. Like, I can like tolerate people who advocate for a single payer healthcare, but for people who want to just advocate for death, fuck you.
Oh, those people are disgusting, and I hope that Luigi guy gets the chair.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When it comes to
fuck that murderer, and the scumbag bitches who are like simping for him, they're trash of humanity.
right, speaking.
But remember, if women turn you down, it's because they sense that you're a bad person, and women have great intuition. Oh, let's all simp, and also let's all simp for this killer.
Speaking of scumbag bitches, actually, Destiny, and I actually listened to a recent video by Bass FZZ. You listen to Bass FZZ, don't you?
Yeah, I'm familiar with him.
He did a video about Destiny and his whole situation of blackmailing a girl. Well, actually, he goes revealing something, or at least implying something that is kind of new to me. Like, was it intentional that Destiny like leaked the video file, or was that released by someone else? Because I thought I
haven't followed that whole drama, so I'm not really sure what's going on there.
Okay. But there's a point that Bass FZZ mentioned about how that Destiny is like he's in such tumult chaos with his sex life and everything. And I don't know if you like entirely agree with this, and not trying to be like a too Christianese with this, but there is he mentioned that there's like a certain point to be made about how too much lust ruining a person's life. And I think Destiny seems to be like the quintessential example of that. I mean, talk about the pinnacle of sexual degenerates, just fucking like literally anybody and everybody that he wants to work with. Lauren Southern, and people are alleging Nick Fuentes as well. And on top of his wife and everyone else.
I mean, the situation with Nick Fuentes does give the phrase "you have a date with destiny" a whole new meaning.
I will never hear that saying the same ever again.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's just quite interesting, and Bass FZZ always has an interesting thought to bring up about these kinds of issues. I don't know how much I listen to like his other issues. There seems to be like some. It seems to be a very, very dicey video that, or it's a recording of an interview discussion that he had with somebody. It said a pleasant discussion about suicide, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it does seem. Oh, well, yeah, that seems pleasant.
Totally. I love the idea of people themselves. Yeah. That's there's no lighter of a subject than that. Hey, I would rather be talking about that than watching Toy Story 2 or some other fun, uplifting movie like that.
Yeah. Like in The Incredibles, though, where he saves a guy who didn't want to be saved.
Oh yeah. The darkest thing that he could have ever done was save somebody and maybe advise that they get therapy for their suicidal situation.
You didn't save my life, you ruined my death.
Yeah. For the longest time, I never caught that line in my childhood and whatnot. I guess it's because "you ruined my death" is like a saying that has never been used before in popularity until The Incredibles was released. And plus, it was like in a black and white old school TV, and I could barely make out the words back then. But I prefer Bass FZZ when he goes talking about relationships, sexual relationships with each other. And he doesn't always take it from like a purely Christian perspective, in my experience of things.
Right.
Listen to him. He's also one of the oldest uploaders of YouTube videos in all of YouTube, it seems, as far as I get. And hello, Steel Fang in the chat. Like he's been doing a video uploads for what 14 years now or something. Now I'm curious.
Something like that.
Although I guess we're kind of winding down on topics here.
Yeah, yeah, we've all been on YouTube a while because we're all old people.
Yeah.
I remember those days of early YouTube. It was long ago, but long before you were born. Back when dinosaurs roamed the earth.
Oh.
So, which is a dark prophecy that birds will be extinct when we're old. But
Okay, so he's done like videos for 17 years off and on. But I think the oldest like serious the oldest serious commentary video that I can see here is this 2-minute video called "Is Amber Cole Really a Hoe?"
okay.
I don't know who Amber Cole is, but that's from 13 years ago. I also remember that he was like one of the earliest responders to the young turds, the young turds before it was popular.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, kind of just shooting the shit at this point, but I think we might go ahead and just stop it right here since we're kind of winding down. Anything else to say? Like any other important weekly news that you want to mention about before going off air?
No, not really. Let's just end it.
All right. Hey, thank you all for watching. It's been a bit of a short one, and I guess speaking of sexual relationships and whatnot, my little mini vlog series is actually going to be a vlog series about my honestly about my own personal porn addiction. Like I'm not going to try and crusade against anybody who is like a gooner or anything like that, but ultimately I'm just wanting to talk about my own experience and to anybody who can relate on that.
Right.
I mean, agree or disagree, Loudmouth. I'd still be interested to hear your commentary on it, possibly.
Okay.
If and whenever it comes out, which hopefully it'll be like less than a month. But anyway, thank you all for watching it. It's been a short one, but I guess the shorter the better in some cases. And thank you, Frank JGZ and Steel Fang, for popping up in the live chat. And we'll try and keep these streams going, as spotty as they might be on our schedule. But y'all have a good rest of your weekend, and God bless.
Bye-bye.